Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the last Monday in October of 2023. And you're in my greenhouse right now. This is going to be one of the first little DIY videos. Um, it's early. I need my coffee. So today is going to kind of be coffee and cactus, I guess. Anyhow, welcome to my happy place. This is Silverwing Farm. Together, my husband and I, Gary, we grow exotic and unusual hanging plants and cactus, some different house plants, some different succulents, but you can kind of see some of these behind me. My true love are my jungle cactus, my Hoyas, and my Sansevierias. So that's mostly what you're going to see me doing in here, is working with some of these plants, and hopefully I can, help you be successful with them. So let's get started. Today we're going to be planting up some monkey tail cactus. Monkey tail cactus, can you see the big ones up here above me? Those are some of our babies that are growing out so we can have more babies. But people love these, and I'm telling you, when they're adult and they hang down, they get all this long hair on the bottom. They put up these big, beautiful pink flowers. Anyone who's been to my shop sees my girl in there. They think she looks like a tarantula, but when she blooms, they're going to be blown away. So, well, actually, let me show you first. These are little 4-inch pots. So people's first reaction is, I'm going to go and buy this beautiful ceramic, and I'm going to plant this up, and it's going to be so grand. Okay, what we're actually going to plant them in are these little babies. 6-inch pot. It doesn't look a whole lot bigger, does it? Well, there's a reason for that. When you plant up a pot that has roots, it's in a 4-inch pot, and then all of a sudden you put them in an 8-inch or a 10-inch or even a 12-inch, you've increased that soil space around those roots so much that when you water that plant, that soil is going to stay really wet for a really long time. Meanwhile, you've got this little root ball right smack in the middle that can either be rotting because it's sitting in soil that's staying really, really wet. Most of these plants like to be a little bit tight with their roots. So you want to start them off in something that, this is plenty for it to grow into. It's going to take a while for it to grow into this little 6-inch pot. We don't have to put it in something 4 times the size. And what goes in the bottom of them are these little trays. So what it does when you put it in there, it just allows the soil, it allows a little bit of water to go underneath it, and it allows the soil down there so that your roots aren't coming right out through the bottom. Okay, so those are really important. If you get a pot like this, you can see there's kind of an indent down there. The reason for that being is when this covers it up, it's going to leave a little tiny reservoir of water, so your plant isn't going to be at risk for drying out really bad. So, next thing is so important. Soil. I gotta tell you, my pet peeve right now, we buy really good soil, and we're actually going to start buying some big bulk ones where we're buying them in these great big bales. But we go to Home Depot just like everyone else, and we buy the cactus and the succulent soil. Do you know there are weeds in the soil? I'm in here in a greenhouse where nothing gets in here, and I am constantly plucking weeds. So anyhow, can't help it. If you have weeds growing up in your house, you'll know why. It's coming through your soil. Anyhow, so the soil we start with is the cactus and succulent soil. Why? Okay, well, as you can see, he's kind of a cactus. Now, the reason you have that is there's going to be a lot more stuff in the soil that is going to break it up and keep it from packing. A lot of your garden soils now have a lot of peat in them. And what happens when they dry out, they're like concrete. You ever notice your plant, the soil moves in from the outside of the pot, it's dried up so much, then you water it, guess what? Water runs right down the outside, right out the pot. You don't ever actually water the roots. So we don't want soil that's going to compact like that and it's going to stay wet forever. So what I do when I get these is we add the cocoa Noir, Noir, I never know how to pronounce that. This is what it looks like. It's almost like, I know what it was like. Anyhow, what they do is they take coconut shells and they grind them up really fine. And they're finding that in a soil mixture that it's going to hold a little bit of the moisture for it, so it's going to keep it from drying out, but it also keeps that separation in the soil. so you don't end up packing. The other thing you notice in there, there's a lot of perlite. I always add extra perlite. I don't want these plants ending up where if they go dry, it's like concrete. I want that space in between the soil so the air can get in there and the roots can be healthier. Okay? So we're just going to throw some soil in here. Can you all see down here? Yeah. So I always just start off with something about like that. Because what you want to do is you really want to go in here and pack this soil. Then I'll go through and I'll pull out a little spot that's the size of that grow pot. And I take the soil and I pull it up against the sides and I pack it to the sides. That way, when I plop that in there, you can see there's this perfect little hole. I would suggest wearing gloves. I've got tough hands. Actually, your monkey tail cactus, the bristles are really, really soft, and that's what's so cool when the hair gets really long, because you can actually pat it. We're a little bit tight on there, so all I'm going to do is just kind of break up the bottom just a little bit. I don't want to really disrupt the roots a whole lot, but I want to encourage them to spread out, because too many times when people bring me their plants that I'm like the plant rescuer. I said, instead of an animal shelter, I have a shelter for plants. Usually what I find out as soon as I take them and pull them right out of that pot is here's this perfect root ball. It has never integrated into the soil around it, and that's why their plant is dying. It's exactly why their plant is dying. If it was a really, really, really tight root ball, I would probably go ahead and score the bottom. But monkey tail cactus, there's a few different varieties of them. Hilda Winter, I don't know, it's got a really long name. I'll post it for you. Because I have bought some when I first started out that said they were monkey tail cactus. They weren't. It was just a great big tall cactus, unfortunately, that never went into turning into a hanging plant. The reason I start these in little pots is I want those roots to get really established, and usually you're starting off with smaller cuttings. So, I just put it on the wrong one. So when you start with smaller cuttings, again, you want to, because most of the time when you start with cuttings, you're not necessarily watering them. We keep a spray bottle, I can't even talk today, my gosh. We keep a spray bottle. And so when you've got cuttings, especially ones that are some of these jungle cactus, you know, where you've got a thinner type of leaf, when you put them in the soil, if you water the soil, you're just going to rot it. So you're going to miss them. So now that these guys are big enough and they're established, now we pop them into a pot and it's going to start draping down. The heavier the plant gets, it's going to drape down and it'll get these long, lovely, and probably what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll post some pictures afterwards of what the blooms look like, because these are amazing plants. Unfortunately, they're rather pricey. Something this size, it's typically going to cost you about $40, $45. Wow, right? But I'll tell you why. Because cuttings this big typically go for about 10 bucks. So you can see right here, this is way bigger than that, but this is going to be a beautiful plant. If you can see this big baby up here, she's starting. We've got another one hiding back here. I don't know if you can see her. This one's got actually a lot more growth on it. But they are wonderful plants. People love them. They're great showpieces. They're a great way to get people talking about plants. So hey, stay tuned. We'll have lots more videos and how-tos and DIYs. And also as we start traveling around the country to showcase our favorite nurseries and greenhouses. That's our favorite thing. Peace out. Have a beautiful day. Be safe out there. Winter's coming. Keep your plants warm. Get them in because we've got 20s coming. Okay? Have a good one. Hey, one thing I forgot to add. This is my little secret. Super Thrive. What I do after I've planted one, oh, the spray works. I'll go ahead and just give them a little spritz. I do this with my cuttings. I do this with new hanging plants. Super Thrive, it's not a fertilizer, it's a plant vitamin, and it actually basically boosts what your other things that are going on. It's just a foliar spray, like it says, builds plant vigor. So, to me, you're kind of stacking the deck in your favor if you can give something like this, because even transplanting is a little bit hard on a plant. So if you can give them a little boost like that, that's going to help them thrive, super thrive. No, I'm not selling it, I promise you. This is not a commercial. Anyhow, it is something that I use. The other thing I was going to add, this guy was very established and had good roots, so I didn't have to use this. But typically when we're doing cuttings or we've got plants that we're planting up that are a little bit weaker root system, we'll go ahead and use a little rooting powder. Okay, all this is a hormone that is going to stimulate the roots to put out more roots, because you don't really want it growing a whole lot up in the foliage until the roots get established. So this is going to help you. So it's always a good idea to sprinkle a little bit underneath where the roots are going to go, just to give yourself a little bit more luck that it's going to be successful. Okay, 2 things I forgot. Peace out. Okay, as you can see, well, there's a few here. I've planted up 10 total. Now I want you to see, when you plant up a hanging one that you know is going to pendulous like this, you want to try and put them on each sides, so when they grow you don't end up with this giant thing that you have to try and shove back through. So anyhow, that was telling you about our Hildewintera, try to pronounce it, Colademanonis? Hildewintera Colademanonis. Monkey tail cactus. I hope you can find some, and I hope you can enjoy them. If not, you can always contact us here at Silverwing Farm. You can email us at silverwingfarm@yahoo.com. Stay tuned. We'll have our YouTube channel up here soon. In fact, you're probably watching this on our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Silverwing Farm. Okay? Have a great one.